seeing accountability and people who believe I was more than my worst moment. That's what Carpe Diem outreach, community wraparound, Liz If You Can, show what's possible when we invest in youth instead of incarcerating them. We work directly with young people across North County, helping them with emotional. So thank you.
And then the final call from the speakers that previously called, Vanessa Melendra, Omar Yusefi.
Good morning. My name is Rahma Abdi. I'm the Director of Organizing with PANA and also a member of CPA. Thank you for supporting Global Village in Mid-City San Diego. Your support means a lot for Fijian immigrant families like mine. Today, you're not just helping build a project, you're helping build others who believe in them. They'll remember that you're investing in places where family can find support and information for opportunity. Global will be that buildings. It will be a place of hope. It will be a place where families can learn and connect and grow. A place where every people can get important information in their language they understand. A place where no one feels left behind. It means our family will be better prepared during emergency. Your investment today will help families for many years to come. It's important. It impact will not only stop there.
Hello, my name is Humaira Yusufu of the Partnership, which is a member of the Community Budget Alliance, CBA. I'm here to urge you all to approve this budget. It will provide much needed funding to so many projects, including the Immigration Legal Defense Project. And I particularly want to express my appreciation to Supervisor Monica Montgomery Stapp, Austin Beamer, and Aguirre for your support of the Global Village Project, which will benefit the entire region for generations to come. This project will not only build much needed, deeply affordable homes, it will create long-term investment in historically underserved communities. While this project is in the Choice Creek corridor in the Mid-City region, it will serve the entire county. There is a huge need for trusted, culturally appropriate spaces and disaster emergency relief.
Now, here's the individuals that request to speak by phone. Again, when it is your turn to speak, you will be unmuted. You will hear a recording that will tell you to begin your comments. We will start with our first caller.
Although 135 notes that you want to spend $9 million on permanent road divisions this year, but only $2 million next fiscal year. You want to spend $25 million on flood controllers FY, but only $14 million next FY. Future famine, rain and floods are now coming any time of year, so this doesn't make sense. Just you fix these yourselves instead of creating PRDs that the homeowners don't know about and then using them like your personal piggy bank. Many of the residents are lower income, and this makes mockery of your commitments to helping lower income people and keeps downtown restrooms open.
Out of touch. The most disturbing things that I've heard in this meeting is from the youth. Things that I've heard in this meeting is from the youth. Same system that creates the problem, is looked up to and
If we're serious about supporting youth, health and well-being, marijuana young people today are facing increasingly potent and exposure to messages that normalize drug use. Prevention
Good morning, my name is Ibrahim. Good morning, my name is Ibrahim Lou. I'm a small support so that we could succeed in American economy so that we would be successful business owners, helping our community to grow.
We'll give 2 minutes.
And you can take the blue line for free. They won't give you a ticket if they're heading south.
Immigrants and illegal non-whites are not new Americans and should not be prioritized over American citizens in need. Village. Consider entitled to apply for asylum. Location of temporary protected status of Haitian and Syrian nationals. So therefore, no money from the illegal immigrant citizens. Criminals must be deported, not culled. Sorry, I'm walking, I'm out of breath. No funding special privileges to individuals based on their sexual behavior and preferences. From law enforcement, from court services, above all else, stop pillaging the American citizens, taxpayers.
Hello, my name is Todd Simpson. I'm 23 years old. For 5.5 years in East Mesa and DJJ. I'm currently a student at Fresno State. I'm also in business. I graduated while I was incarcerated. And all these things are possible because of the support that I did receive. But this support was not given to me by the systems in place and by the structures that have been built within these systems. Organizations like the Davis Heart Foundation and Home Girls That Got Some, and SBCS, Southbridge Community Services. Anything like that would allow me to get to the place where I'm at now. And with this funding, with this support, all you have to do is within the system as well to get the same kind of support. So I do appreciate all you guys for coming on here. But I have lived the experience. I was surprised that I have the lots of around, and everyone is just essentially here to do the right thing. There's no negative or ulterior motives. There's no monetary gain from this. It's genuinely just a support and a genuine desire to go to other communities. So thank you.
Claire Beekman. Hi, Claire Beekman. I do not attend enough Board of Supervisors meetings. I wish there's been many issues in dealing with a new jail in Santa Clara County, where I come from, San Jose area. We're working on that a lot. Nice dialogue today asking that if you build a jail, you have to be considering all the other social programs we can be doing in this place. That has to be first and foremost. And with that, there's been so many deaths at our county jail here in San Diego, the same as in Santa Clara County. Can you guys work together to solve this death issue and learn to limit the amount of deaths and before anything you build in the future? And good luck on budget practices and working towards social equity first and then austerity. We're learning good lessons in San Diego City. Good luck in your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Rossmarin, that concludes public comment on this item.
Okay, thank you very much. First, I just want to take a moment to thank all of our public commenters and our speakers. Thank you for your participation today. But really thank you for your participation in this entire budget process, budgeting process that creates avenues for input and participation and collaboration on shaping our county's budget much earlier in the process, so that hopefully by the time you get to this point, that the budget can reflect the major needs and priorities of our community. Today, we are voting on, I think it's a pretty extraordinary budget. It protects the core services that San Diegans count on: public safety, fire, emergency response, behavioral health, healthcare, food assistance, homeless services, veteran services, parks, libraries, arts, roads, and the day-to-day work of our county government. This is a responsible budget, it's a balanced budget, I think it's a visionary budget, and it is a budget built for the moment that we are in. Because this is not a normal year. The Trump administration of rising gas prices, affordability, rising housing costs, and this budget meets that moment. The budget also protects public safety. Public safety means firefighters with the staff and the helicopters that they need when a wildfire breaks out. We're adding fire suppression positions, helicopters, and other safety equipment. Law enforcement. This process, because the government cannot pull you off the street, lock you up away from your family, and force you to face deportation alone simply because you cannot afford an attorney. That is the rule of law, that is the Constitution, and defending the Constitution is public safety. This budget also cuts waste and inefficiencies and makes our government work better. We are modernizing outdated phone systems, getting rid of fax machines, reducing leasing costs, and doing so many other small adjustments so that our county can continue working in good ways. I'd like to thank our county staff, our CIO, Amy Shelton, and every department that worked with us on this budget. It has not been an easy year, but we are stronger because of this hard work. But I also would like to be honest that we're not out of the woods. This budget gets us through this year and sets us on a good path for the next few years. But coming years could be even harder. We're facing hundreds of millions of dollars in additional costs and cuts depending on what happens in both Washington and Sacramento. So this vote is incredibly important, it's extraordinarily important, but it is not the end of our work, it is the beginning of the next phase. We'll need to keep working, keep fighting, keep talking, and keep finding solutions for our community. So I'm proud to support this budget. It is balanced, it's responsible, it invests in all the key programs that I think are so essential to protecting the most vulnerable members of our community and fighting for working families. But we're not done with this work. So I would like to begin our conversation discussion at the board by making a motion to, number one, approve the CAO's change letter, which is recommendation number one. Number two, approve the remaining staff recommendations listed in the item as recommendations 3 through 5 in item 8, and recommendations 1 and 3 in item 9, and as well as all the staff recommendations in the Fire Protection District, Flood Control District, and Home Supportive Services Public Authority, Redevelopment Successor Agency, and the Sanitation District agendas. So again, that's a motion to approve the CAO's change letter, which is recommendation 1, approve the remaining staff recommendations listed as recommendations 3 through 5 in item 8, and recommendation 1 and 3 in item 9, and all staff recommendations in Fire Protection District, Flood Control District, and Home Support Services Public Authority, Redevelopment Successor Agency, and Sanitation District agendas. With that, I will turn the chair over to the vice chair. Excuse me, turn the floor to the vice chair.
Thank you so much, Chair Wasserman. I want to start by thanking our Chief Administrative Officer, Ebony Shelton, Assistant CAO and Chief Financial Officer, John Brackley, and the entire county team for their extraordinary, tremendous work in developing the revised recommended operational plan for the next 2 fiscal years. Also want to thank the county comms department, specifically Tammy Green and Natalia Mitchell for welcoming my team at the Budget Public event at the Southeastern Live-Well Center and the Community Budget Open House at the County Operations Center. Meaningful community engagement is essential to shaping a budget that reflects the diverse needs of our county. And my staff had valuable conversations at both events, conversations that are vital to producing the budget before us today. An important point the revised recommended budget makes clear is that it does not account for potential impacts from state or federal budget changes. It is important that we acknowledge that uncertainty directly. The federal government's decision to prioritize tax cuts for the wealthy, resulting in significant reductions to healthcare access and food assistance, has put more than 314,000 of our county's Medi-Cal members and 93,500 CalFresh recipients at risk of losing the support they rely on. H.R. 1, also known as the Big Beautiful Bill, is not a mistake. It is a deliberate policy choice and a harmful one. Taking food away from struggling families does not build stronger communities. It creates instability, hardship, and a greater risk of homelessness. And taking health care away disproportionately from low-income households, immigrants, communities of color, intensifies existing inequities, worsens health outcomes, and pushes vulnerable families even closer to crisis. There is nothing beautiful about making it harder for people to access the support that they need to remain healthy, housed, and fed. While I cannot change the decisions made in Washington, we can act here at home. The budget before us today represents a proactive and essential response to protect our most vulnerable residents. In the recommended budget, I have advocated for and supported $44.7 million for safety net services, advancing our equity and health priorities, $5 million for the Global Village, led by the Partnership for the Advancement of New Americans. This is a critical investment in a network of wraparound services and emergency services, including housing opportunities for refugee, immigrant, and low-income families. $600,000 for tenant legal aid services, ensuring to remain safely housed, outcomes across regions and demographics, and the budgetary actions taken to formally establish the behavioral services as a standalone county department. When my office first advanced this major structural reform, we did so recognizing this administrative reorganization. As an independent department, DHS will be better positioned to expand provider networks, improve care coordination, modernize data and technology systems, enhance financial oversight, and respond more rapidly and effectively to the needs of individuals experiencing serious mental illness and substance use disorders. These are precisely the improvements the state now expects counties to deliver, and my board action paired with the budget realignment ensures San Diego is not only keeping pace, but leading the way. All of these investments in our communities ensure that residents are not left behind and that access to critical services is preserved, especially for individuals who may experience temporary gaps in support created by federal, not local policy shifts. From the moment we saw these threats emerging, we acted. We developed a plan, secured the necessary resources, built strong partnerships, and today, through this budget, we are delivering on that commitment. Lastly, I have full confidence in our CAO, our incident command structure, and our Department of Finance to closely monitor and proactively address, regardless of what adjustments may be required in the months ahead. Thank you again to county staff for your countless hours of analysis and coordination that went into producing this thoughtful and balanced budget. And most importantly, thank you to the community.
I know what it is to go without, to see money and opportunity pass you by, and that's why this budget is so important to me. And I do want to preface my prepared remarks with the fact that they are blunt, but they're also truthful. And we need to acknowledge that truth because we are living in unprecedented times. Never in my imagination ever did I expect us to be faced with cuts to entitlement programs, the safety net programs by this very administration. South County has been overlooked for decades, and I do believe this budget reflects our values and prioritizes $5 million to fix the Staten Boulevard pollution site, one of the worst sources of toxic air in our community. We committed $20 million to clean up the Tijuana River, to push state and federal leaders towards a permanent fix. Our families deserve clean air, clean beaches, full stop. On the cost of living, Donald Trump and the Republicans choice to accept or fight back. Food and housing, and I refuse to let that happen on my watch. We're hiring 120 new workers to help families keep their food and health benefits. And we're putting $15.8 million of our own money to make up for what's from and then took out. On housing, we're putting over $22 million into out of their community. Administration is escalating as is an investment in the well-being of our region. Provide unjust deportations, keeps parents with their children, and preserves the social and economic stability that neighborhoods depend on. When families can remain contributing to our local economy and I especially want to lift up the powerful youth advocacy. Your determination youth development feasibility study, a major step toward a future Department of Youth Development. Advocacy takes courage, even when it's just speaking up at the podium. They're paying more for their bills, families going hungry, people losing their. That's not balanced. Our reserves are 100% fully funded, and we have a top credit rating. Putting county finances at risk. We are investing in solutions, and there's a big difference when it comes to that. And let me also say, when right-wing opponents tell lies about this budget, what they're really, it's okay to leave people who look like me behind, and that community behind. I think it's deeply cynical. We see we're seeing it here in San Diego too. And it's not to inflame, it's to be clear because the people deserve to know the truth. Toronto River continues, the cost of living crisis is not solved by any means. District 1 families deserve their fair share, and we're not. Choices to help families succeed, especially poor people. Thank you to everybody who spoke out in support of this budget, and I want to especially thank.
There's a lot in this $9.1 billion budget, for example, that I like. The increase of $98 million going to public safety. Schools, but unfortunately still need jails, and the ones we have are pretty bad. Large quantities of water is critical for saving lives. We're pursuing crisis libraries, parks, road improvements. In fact, hats off to our works for reaching the target of the 70 area roads. Continuing funding for the drowning prevention and swim lessons for kids, and for the new youth sports defibrillator program for all of our sports programs. Swim lessons actually save lives, and what I've noticed in the drowning prevention programs in North County, it's not just for kids, parents are actually enrolling in these classes and learning this way, which is good. However, there are some items that I don't support, and I want to voice my opposition. Folks should be paying for. That money should be going towards local efforts, not towards people who just walked into the country and all of a sudden need leave the attorney office. They're doing a great job, and I think this is totally ridiculous. Money is too valuable and limited to be spent. We started doing this. There's too many ongoing services and operations being funded by anyone's at risk of losing their Medi-Cal benefits. So if they're able-bodied, they're single got no dependents, are able to work. They can only ask for 20 hours a week of volunteer or work or some type of service to pay for the services that you're receiving. Those are the ones that are not willing to do that at risk. Anyone else who is qualified and who has needs these services will get them. It's only the ones at risk. As it turns out, the sky is not falling. In fact, so far the impacts are estimated requirements of twice a year, and depending on how much the state funds, we're still not. That only puts at risk a potential of 24 million. And that's if everyone who's 24 million shortfall, potential shortfalls. And this board is a year that have been addressed by prioritizing our own budget. We're not spending these reserves, and I said emergency reserves. We could have with this illegal net 13 point million. That money alone would earn $11 million a year. $11 million out and spend it on one-time things. These are valuable reserves funds that are not going to capital improvements, which could last for years to come. In fact, the San Diego County Taxpayers Association pointed out capital improvement allocation, which is for roads, for bridges, for infrastructure, for parks, for new. We've got many buildings, many roads, many things that need improvements. And this is how the city of San Diego's gotten so far, so deep in trouble. Now, I really admit staff's done a great job. We still have a lot of things, other things to make this building, which was built almost 100 years ago. Still, because of all the other spending, it's about half